kind of person to say a toe-to-so, but you know what? A toe-to-so. A fucking a toe-to-so.
We got Jews in the house?
Ding dong. Hello?
سبحان فالق الإصباح.
Back at it, infidels here. Twitch.tv/Hamin Media, Ben Hamin YouTube channel, free value giveaway, promoting channelattitude.com and the Hamin Media Group. Big news broken on the Friday locker room. Nukes touched off. But we got to round up all the talent here and straighten them all out and get things back on track. It's AEW Dynamite. Light the fuse. Let's do the reviews. YOLO. I needed that one, man. It was a good time hanging out last night with the Hamin Media discussion group. Live playing some jams. They thought I was crazy just playing some good music, man. But it's whatever. I'm going hard in the paint. Coming off of Immortal and then coming off of Woodsman's and just getting all this stuff back in line, and plenty to do on redesigning horseshoegenetics.com in the next 48 hours. Will be really busting ass on that, as well as getting all the uploads done, man, and doing all the shows. It was a great week at Russo's brand, Raw and SmackDown review. People think that there's heat between me and Vince going back and forth. Absolutely not. None. It's just we're passionate about how we see things, and there's always more than one way to see things, but made for some great shows this week. Master Shoot Theater, a lot of fun, a lot of heavy talk, and today on the Friday Locker Room, exclusively at channelattitude.com, a show not to be missed. If you want to find out about the truth coming out about us being consultants for USA Network, NBC, we have definitely lifted the veil, and there'll be a whole series coming out soon. So I'm excited to do those shows, probably patreon.com/Hamin Media group, and it's going to be very interesting to see what the fallout is, because it was something that nobody knew about except the three of us. Double A with the bits in the house as well. Appreciate that, homie, man. And also want to say thanks for all the birthday shout outs as well, man. A lot of people sharing, sending rise and praise to the great Ayatollah Telaib bin Hamin. It was a good time going out to dinner with wife number one. I think I set the world record for Red Lobster Cheddar Bay biscuits. So, it's up there. It's up there. Could be quadruple digits. But it was a good time, man. Love that seafood and hanging out with my wives. It was great, as well as some of the nice gifts they got me from William Murray Golf. Some awesome gear there. I actually had to reach out to Joel Murray to show him my swag. He was pretty pleased, but look forward to beating the shit out of referee sideburns out on the links and shaving 3 or 4 strokes off of my game. So it was a great birthday. And then yesterday went to the great New York State Fair for an hour with 2CW owner Josh Janaray, JD Love, and saw one of my favorite vocalists, Stephen Page, former head singer of the Bare Naked Ladies, former head singer, lead singer. Put on a show there at the Chevy Court, and it was, if you ever heard Stephen Page's voice, it's something otherworldly, man. So it was good just to catch a free show there, pretty much $3, hang out with Josh for a minute and kind of put an end on my birthday and back to work and all that stuff, man. So it was a really good time, awesome show, and good to hang out with him in the sun on the summer. Good way to bring things home. So y'all, man, but I'm telling you what, Friday Locker Room is something special, man. John McAfee talk on there. I look forward to getting with GGP. I just uploaded new Conspiracy Horsemen to the Rumble, all about the Taos Caves. We talked about it a bit on Master Shoot Theater, but GGP and I go into it. And now new John McAfee documentary, as well as new rumors that he may be alive. So I don't know if that's just a bunch of get the conspiracy theorists talking to promote the movie. I kind of feel that it is. What cough button? Cheddar Bay biscuits are 160 and 380 milligrams of sodium each. So multiply that times 1,400 plus. I think that's where I was at. They were good. But I like the shrimp and lobster because I'm a true mobster. So it was a good time, man. Absolutely. And also giving up sugar. I'm going to do my best to do that personally all the way till probably Thanksgiving. Just want to really focus in on getting diet in line as well as the workout. I feel like I've been working out pretty good, but you got to shape things up. And man, maybe it's just my little midlife crisis thing. Who knows? We'll see. But a great week all the way around here coming off of Woodsman's. And see the chat room's filling up, 26 strong right now. Been on my YouTube channel mainly. I think there might be one or two on Twitch. But regardless, man, appreciate you guys hanging out here with us on a Thursday afternoon live. So I'm not sure where Art of the B to the V is. Sent the link to Big Ray. Sent it to Silvio. So you never know who could be running in here in any minute. But if not, so be it. It's you, I, we, me, my. We're going to do it all, man. Talking about, I don't know, I guess the state of the business overall. It's easy to cut promos on CM Punk and act like it's hot button. And it's, all I can do is offer about what I saw. And I've seen the good and the bad, very kind to the locker room of those he deemed over. And then those who were deemed under, not so kind to. And I'm not trying to put him on a pedestal as he made more money. We all have our own faults as human beings. And maybe when the spotlight's on you a little more, you're under the microscope and scrutiny's a little bit more. It's easier to judge somebody that way. And that'd be a fault of mine as well. Being on the other side of that, doing the judging. So yeah, it's easy too, but I know last night it got a little crazy.
Man,
yeah.
I guess maybe I forgot to tell you Monday, but I want to just run in and let everyone know what I'm doing, where I'm at.
Oh, he's at the
on location.
It looks hotter than hell too, man. Looks just like last year. Well, you have a great show, dude. Don't worry about that. You did forget to tell me, but that's fine.
I apologize, bud.
Okay, man.
Well, hey, I just want to shout out to the Hamin Army. If you're in the area, if you're around VV, Indiana, wherever the hell that is, come down and see us today.
The big Catalina wine show down there.
All right, bud.
All right, man. Have a good one, dude. Have a great show. There he goes. So at least he ran in. I don't remember. Maybe I don't remember. I don't remember him saying anything on air or off air, but regardless, we'll just put heat on him. So heat's on RBV. It looks like the heat's on RBV. It looks hotter than hell out in the sun. When I did that show last year, it was about 85 degrees and blazing. So he's playing promoter today. So it never ends here at HMG. So if you're going to have to miss the light the fuse RBV, at least it's because, hey, the excuses I'm putting on a wrestling show. Okay. So no worries there, man. Hope they do well. Hoping everybody has a good time for sure. Glad I'm not out in the sun right now, to be honest with you. But yeah, man, I guess the overall state of the business when it comes to this was the big news of RBV, CM Punk last night. Excuse me, all these people with initials on BH. But, it's easy to take shots at him, and there's a track record of it. So it's not like something I don't think he's going to work on to be a better human being. Maybe he will. I don't want to undercut him. Like, I'd like to work on my shit to some degree to say, let's not repeat patterns, that are going to be holding you back from reaching your potential, but welcome to the Carney wrestling business, bro. So that's just what it is. Aaron Ben Shlomo, he's BS. I like that one. So maybe, everybody holds a little bit of onus in this. I just don't want to, lay it down on another scorched earth promo on a guy when you don't know his side of the story or the frustration they're dealing with from inept management or, whatever. Yeah, it's wrestling. It's fucking phony. But we take it very seriously. And I guess, I saw this on the sheets. John Moxley takes verbal shots at AEW, at WWE and Vince McMahon after the Rampage taping. He said he didn't pull any punches while addressing his fans in the home state of Ohio. After AEW concluded tapings for Rampage, Moxley and Danielson of Blackpool Combat Club come out to address the fans of the Wolstein Center in Cleveland. Volstein. According to PW Insider, Moxley began his speech by declaring that he and Danielson were the two best wrestlers in the world. Therefore, he spoke of all his great memories in Cleveland, and none were as special as his victory over CM Punk earlier on Dynamite. Moxley vowed that the AEW locker room was determined to work their behinds off to present a professional wrestling product, the best professional wrestling product on the planet. He then implored the audience to tell their fans to check out AEW programming if they were watching that Monday and Friday night crap, referring to the two flagship shows, Raw and SmackDown. A little later, Moxley appeared to take a shot at former WWE Chairman Vince McMahon while praising ROH champ Claudio Castagnoli. 24-man McMahon went on to Steve Austin's podcast. He commented why the former Cesaro failed to grab the proverbial brass ring. At the time, McMahon said Claudio lacked the it factor and struggled to connect with the fans the way the top WWE superstar is supposed to. While referencing the comments, Moxley praised Castagnoli for ignoring some old crazy man's opinions and sticking to his guns. I don't know how hard of a diss that is, crazy old man, because let's start here. Is Cesaro over it, from leaving WWE? Like a great worker, great shape, obviously understands this business backwards and forth. Is he doing promos? Is he in a storyline that's got him over? I'm not saying he sucks by any means. I'm just saying, have we done what we need to do with him instead of just going, you left WWE, good for you, pal? Like, okay. Now what? And it's easy to come out there and do those rah-rah speeches, but what is it really accomplishing saying, I'm the best, we're the best? If you have to put yourself over, and I'm guilty of this too, like, to do that, it's not that. The crowd is the ones that put you over. Your peers are the ones that put you over. When you say it, it's not convincing. That's just the way it is. The best doesn't need to say it. So, because it's just known, I don't remember Michael Jordan come out and trying to say it at the end of every game, I'm the best in the world. He just knew the fuck he was. So, Ray sent me this one last night. So shout out to Big Ray. He was watching Dynamite with his son, Big Aiden. Jesus, the kid's a beast now, and just next level puberty kicked into overdrive. So he's about as big as Big Ray right now. He sent me this over. Let's see here. From Wrestle Purists, Tony Khan stated that right before AEW's meeting took place today, AEW's chief legal officer, Mega Parrick, excuse me if I got your name wrong there, sent an email to WWE's Nick Khan and Stephanie McMahon warning them not to tamper with his talent. I mean, do you think Nick Khan and Stephanie are reaching out, or do you think it's the other way around and people are reaching out to them? If things are in the bad state that had led them to this, where Punk's going into biz for himself and Tony's having to chase some random talent down the hallway, begging him not to walk out. Rusev's putting over things online. So is Y2J about possibly going back to WWE or liking things, these little backhanded covert, things. And then it goes to the stooge core and then it trickles back up. Excuse me. It's a lot of talking. So my voice is almost already shot for the day. But that's all going to trickle down of like, oh, Rusev liked that little thing from a fan, and then gets to Don Stevens and up it goes again. And now are they trying to? And they're paranoid about that stuff instead of worrying about what's most important is, why isn't Rusev on TV? And why don't we have a main event storyline for him and Wardlow that takes place every week on Rampage that we build to get that show over, to get piggyback off of the guys that were WWE guys? Why isn't Cesaro a mid-card champ there with a main card storyline with the other two guys? Like, if SmackDown's doing 2.2 million and you're doing under $500,000, that's completely unacceptable. And we have those guys, Aleister Black, Wesley Blake, countless others, Pac. Like, you have the opportunity there to use them better than WWE did and piggyback off the audience that's familiar with them on Friday. We're not doing that. We're worrying about, he liked that tweet, he did that, and he went into biz for himself and fabe this person. Don't talk to them because we don't want to deal with them asking for a push. But then we'll go hire some New Japan guys that aren't even in a storyline and put them in the main event. Oh, okay. Like, that breeds an entire locker room of contempt. And then you have veterans like Dustin, who are probably, Dustin Runnels I'm referring to, are probably fucking absolutely done with all this little kid bullshit. And they want to, say, get out. Like, if you don't like it, get the fuck out, man. Absolutely is right in saying that. But supposedly there was a talent meeting, and from the way it reads, it's almost the same line as the WWE stuff. We're family. Our door's always open. Come on in and we'll discuss anything, when it's quite the opposite. There's there's a layer of buffer between them even further. Now, Pat Buck can handle talent. He's done it. And, QT's there. And what's his name? Sanjay Dutt. And I think Jerry Lynn and Dean Malenko probably do too, as well as probably Regal. And, that's not going to give you direct access to the boss. And even the Bucks and Omega are like, our door is open, but like, guys are afraid of that because they're worried that they're going to get looked at as taking their spot. So the Bucks need to step up and not be that. They need to leave that to somebody else, because the Bucks need to be the draw. If anybody's really been hurt by doing too much there, the Bucks should be way more above where they are in the world view, but they had to play vice president, and it's not easy to do both jobs and get yourself over to that top level and really need to perform. And they probably give up opportunities to look humble so it wouldn't cause problems in the locker room. So trying not to cause the problem can cause the problem. It's an unfortunate circumstance, but that's how it is. But there's a lot of talent that gets favored, or they see these other outside talents that aren't even signed taking their spots, and you're like, what are we doing here, man? And I think there's a lot of, not distrust, I'm sure there's some, but just like, now everybody's out for themselves and everybody's worried about getting buried or getting fired or whatever it is, and nobody has an idea where their characters are truly going. Everything feels very up in the air. But apparently he sent that message to them. I think, like, that's all those guys are already reaching out. Jericho, FTR, Aleister Black, Rusev. I wouldn't doubt Cesaro's on the short list. Daniel Bryan would all go back. And I think Moxley too. I did send it. So we'll see if who's next to jump ship, because WWE right now, people are like, Raw's the best and that's been in a while. Well, we can bring back fired talent and make it let's open a new gift on Christmas Day. And that's all well and good, but that trick's going to wear itself out. Like, that was what was great in the Monday Night Wars, people jumping ship or who was going to show up on ECW. That's why it's exciting. It's not good creative. It's a different trick to pop the audience, and it's working for right now. But 2 years from now, when you got to get them over, it's a different story. But there's nobody more over than my man, the Vet, doing the run in here, man. Appreciate you, buddy. How are you, pal?
Hey, I'm doing good. I just thought I'd throw on Light the Fuse and see RBV and Ben, but I only see a Ben, so.
Yeah, RBV putting on a show out in the blazing sun today, so he's paying the price.
Genius. Brilliant.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you coming on in, and it's been hot button topic. You sent me a nice message. I just been super busy about, a lot of people, whenever we're not on the same page, doesn't mean we hate each other, but
right.
I had to say what I had to say, and Vince might not have the same vision of it because we've had a different journey. about Johnny Gargano and everything, as I kind of was just alluding to that, of why people are liking Raw for these quick pops, Killer Cross and things like that. And now Cross can do amazing things, and then so can Gargano. But I just had to say what's what and why I can't belittle the guy just like he's 5'4" and da-da-da-da. Like, yeah, man, and he's lasted this long in the business to get to there. He knows what's up.
Well, yeah, I mean, come on. How many shows have we done, just you and I, where I buried Johnny Gargano? I didn't bury him. I just said he's dead to me for whatever reasons that he did. But there's a difference between me not liking, like, particularly being entertained by a person and saying that they have no place in the career that they've chosen whatsoever and don't have a right to be on TV. Like, if you put in the amount of effort and you laid it out perfectly, beautifully, his history and everything that he's done to get where he is, you know, it has nothing to do with his entertainment factor for me personally. But somebody's got to be interested in him, and maybe they're not interested in him now. Maybe they will get interested in him for the reasons that you stated, because everybody can't be the guy that turns pro wrestling's fortunes around.
Right.
Like you can't, like, nobody's going to do that. I'm sorry. It's never going to be like it was. It may never even be truly good, but that doesn't mean that there can't be a little something for everybody. You know, some guys get over on the mic, some guys get over in the ring, some guys get over with both. There's room for people, especially when you're going to come on and talk about how there's 3 boring hours of TV. Well, you got the people to fill them, and that can be one of them. It's not like he just came on Raw and, you know, took the belts off Roman Reigns. It's like, you know what I mean? Like,
It's just God. A new ice cream that we released, you know, and trying to get some payoff from the investment. And if that's a long run, great. If it's a short run, okay. But what do we do in there? And you know, like, sometimes we just need to, like, the perspective is what it is. It's not I'm right, he's wrong. You know, he's looking at it, is this going to bring a casual fan? And I'm kind of like, what is the casual fan?
That's exactly what is a casual fan. Do you think
well, it's because in his journey he had them. He had people who never watched wrestling, who watched Jerry Springer, who now watch wrestling. And the culture has changed, unfortunately. I hate that excuse, but nobody else is taking chances where we're all in some trash TV model. You know what I mean? And that's something the majority's consuming. That's why we fit in that cycle. Now we're small and niche because that has kind of moved on. If we played into the Real Housewives and that type of trash TV, then possibly we might be in that conversation. But because we'd be using those old sluts to come over here and fucking put over the boys and Johnny Ace. So, you know, like, here's the biggest thing, and I didn't even do this as like a trump card or aha gotcha moment, because that's the last thing I want to do to Vince Russo, who I respect so much.
Right.
Is I said all that, and Johnny Gargano blocked me about 9 months ago on Twitter. So here I am. Whenever I go, like, we don't go into bat for this guy. And then I got
that part popped me, but I didn't know about the blocking.
Because I didn't want to fucking be like, and I like, that's just a low blow, you know what I mean? Like, and this is why I'm right, because, like, I fucking hate those things. But, like, I just thought about that this morning. I was like, I didn't even say it, but you know, it was more for the every man kind of view, man. A little bit of everybody on the journey, and sometimes, dude, there's 1,000 workers who are good enough to be on WWE. There's 80 spots, and some people aren't going to get it for one of 100 different reasons. It doesn't mean they're not good enough. Didn't mean they didn't have great moments and had an impact on the business. Maybe they didn't get to shine their brightest on the main stage for whatever of 100 reasons out of their control.
Yeah, he used the baseball analogy, but baseball is based on your skill.
Yeah.
You know, like, if you're in the minors because you can't hit a curve, until you hit a curve, you're not going to get out of the minors. But if you have a friend in the front office, they're not going to pull you up just to bat like 120. Right. You know what I mean? It's just,
and there's
wrestling's different.
And what if you can hit the curve? I feel like I can hit almost any switch up that you want to, except for maybe some high flying lucha. Fucking.
Can I just say something, bro? Look, this has, Ben will tell you the truth. You guys being the audience, that I'm not phrasing this a certain way to be polite. When I say we've never been the best of friends, what I mean is that we don't constantly call and text each other. We didn't hang out that much in OVW and everything like that. We're brothers in the business that we both entered in, but it's not like we're chummy old time best friends or whatever. So that's all just to say, like, when I say, and these guys know me well enough by now, I'm not going to kiss anybody's ass or sugarcoat anything. So it means a fucking hell of a lot if I say that Ben Hamin is a genius, that Ben Hamin is one of the most incredible minds that I've ever known in terms of entertainment, where not only can you sit him down in front of a mic, much like Vince Russo. You sit either one of you guys down in front of a mic and you guys can just go. That's an amazing skill. The improvisation, master shoot theater, stuff like that. There's the people that we look to and put on a pedestal as like Hollywood stars. None of them can do that. They can't do that. They have to get their lines like the minute of, and they don't have to memorize a script. They can memorize a part of a script. And we look at these method actors and everything and these other entertainers for the shit that's manufactured. And then you got a guy like Ben Hamin who can do amazing things. Just him and a microphone. You know what I mean? Like, one of the most amazing people I've ever known in that regard. And I didn't even know it to that degree when we were at OVW, because I was just like, okay, this guy's here to help some people with some promos or whatever. It's like, we just didn't have that level of interaction, but it's the stuff that you've done since I've, been apart from everything and out of contact with you for all those years, and stuff that I've followed along and listened to because you are a brother, and I hear you do those things, and I'm like, man, Ben's on a whole other level than I even knew he was. So, you know what I mean? The minor league thing is not and I know Russo didn't mean, when he phrased it like that, he didn't know what he was saying. He didn't mean it like that. But
and Stevie knew I had to come over and get him with the gotcha on that, and I hated to do it, but the psychopath in me loved it. And thank you for that unbelievable monologue, man. To say how you feel, I really appreciate that, dude. More than you can ever know, to have the respect of my peers. And we're all made guys in the mafia, dude. Some guys might be one family, and some guys might be the other. But that's, and they're not always hanging out, but we can always raise a glass and toast to the same carny.
We're a small, tight-knit family on the come up. We're not necessarily the Dons yet, but
it's all good. We're about Sopranos family size, I'd say. We're not, big Bonanos, Gambinos, but we're in there, man. But that was very kind of you, dude. I really, really appreciate that.
First of all, don't tell me what to do.
Okay,
she's back, baby. She's back. I know you're loving it. That reminds me of another thing that you guys said, just real quick. We're not gonna. This is an AEW show. We're not gonna spend the whole time talking about Bayley, but I thought it was an interesting point about. I think it may have been Stevie who said that she's like Bayley's trying to be cool, but she's like a nerd or whatever. And I kind of thought that that was the whole thing. Like, I think we even had this discussion before. If you're a nerdy babyface, that's basically, like, her character is a mark, right? Like a fangirl. And if you were to all of a sudden have an attitude change, you wouldn't necessarily become a badass cool chick. You would be a nerd, and that's kind of her heat. I never would have turned her heel in the first place, but
she can't relate. She's faking it. Like, there's just the natural Winnie Cooper, girl next door, timeless. She can play football with the boys and do whatever. But, like, to try and get over the annoyance, it isn't there. It gives us some great sound bites.
Ding dong.
But
right. Hey, if they're enough to get you to get them a sound bite, imagine what the casual fan thinks.
Well,
they probably love it.
I just do it for the annoyance level. It's my own rhythm.
But you secretly like it.
Well, it becomes a thing. Like whatever you hate the most, hate is the emotion, and put it out there. Then through repetition, it'll become the thing. That's just how it is. Yeah, man. The other thing, I don't really want to go in on her because we've got a lot of mutual friends, but I got to say what's what because you said it. I got to talk to Real. I don't know if this is true, but the Thunder Rosa promo last night and giving up the belt, it didn't really specify what her injury is. And then through kayfabe chat that I heard it may be more, I need a mental break. And she's working her ass off with Mission Pro, much like RBV today out in the sun. And if you're trying to hold the doors open on that, and you've got all these other girls nipping at your heels to be the champ, and then you become the champ, and then they put you in a tag team, that fucks with your head because that makes no sense, right? Just because they wanted to sell Thunder Storm shirts instead of putting the spotlight on you. And then what I had heard is that Britt Baker, those Britt Baker promos about you carrier and sandbag and all that kind of stuff.
A literal sandbag once.
Yeah. Like that, they didn't know they were coming. And that was like for them to embarrass her on camera, Mean Girl style. So that like, forget everything else is going on with the guys in butterfly pants and going off mic and doing what they want to do. Now you've also got a strange level of toxicity inside your women's locker room for some pettiness. And then girls who have never been on TV until the last 2 weeks are eating up 25 minutes of ring time. Like, just not like every move is like, I don't know. It's not maliciously intended, but it's making things worse. Like none of it is a unifier. None of it is, where's the big league? Where's the big dogger to tell everybody to go, shut the fuck up, sit down. This is what we got to do. All these, you got beef? Do you need to go fight? No, because it's phony. We need to work the fuck together. Anybody going to stooge this meeting? Anybody want to? You're going to be fucking gone if we fight. Like there needs to be the fear put in them, bro. And the humbling, because everybody thinks they can get away with whatever they want. Whatever that parking lot promo was of this is going to be different. In the meeting, it was our doors are open. It was so WWE Carano-esque, bro, of like, come on in and cut your throat, which leads everybody to go, like, nobody's going to stand up and go, I'd like to talk about something. Like, oh, you would? Like, everyone's just going to stay small, dude. You know what I mean? So things in my view and what I've heard inside, outside, I don't even really know where you start to get this on track aside from Tony being the owner and you make somebody else the producer, director, and writer of the show. He's just the owner. Like he could maybe have final say on some things, keep him included. But dude, I'm thinking about her being burnt out. I'm not here to go to bat for TK because I really don't know about him that much. You know, I only seen him live doing crazy promos and shit or scrums hugging people. But dude, that guy's got to be worn the fuck out, bro. Worn out. Like, and why is he going on these small, tiny podcasts and all this is going on around him? Like his crew sees that, but he's kind of oblivious to that and nobody's smartening him up. Plus he's got NFL season kicking off right now, dude. And they're worrying about AEW botches and Don Stevens tweets and Rusev liked this and don't you come at my talent, as opposed to I got to get my fucking show and my cast in order, bro. And if I don't, then I need to step back because they're taking a bite out of me. I need to put somebody in charge who they won't bite out of. No one's going to go up and tell Arn Anderson what the fuck to do, bro. You know, nobody, like, it just ain't going to happen. You're not going to go up to Mark Henry and go, nah, I'm not doing that. Yeah, the fuck you're not. Big Show, come here, tell him what he's doing.
Yeah, wasn't Mark Henry supposed to be the guy that makes this not happen?
He said in the interview, I feel like, and he got a little heat, like, I'm not going to, like, he didn't want to be like, I'm going to be calling girls cunts to their face and stuff, but he wasn't going to put up with no bullshit. And dude, that'd be my guy for the number one enforcer of like, who's giving you your finish and times? Mark Henry. What? You going to go argue with him? You going to go argue? If you got to pitch your business, pitch it. If you got an idea, sure, it's art by committee. I want you to have ownership of it. But as far as like, I'm doing this or going into biz for yourself, even if Punk came to the back and he had gone into biz for himself and ended up answering to Mark Henry, it'd be a different situation. You know what I mean? So we need to get these big brothers, these pillars of wrestling in order to get the respect. Because right now it's paranoia, it's jealousy, it's money issues, it's outside indie guys coming in and taking spots that make no sense whatsoever. People hurt, and then your superstars setting a precedent to do whatever they want with no repercussions until last night. And I'm interested to talk to you about it.
Well, I don't have any answers for you, but it does seem like things are spiraling out of control pretty quickly. Not that they may have ever been in control in the first place, but it was just a nice paradise alternative, you know, when WWE was under the iron fist. And maybe now that the grass is looking greener over there.
Isn't that
you take your pick?
Learn. You think they learn because the grass was greener over there, and then we get there, no, it's not. Oh, but it's greener over there. Run back, everybody! Like
right, and so there's going to be those certain people that are like, there's going to be the kind of people that are feeling creatively unfulfilled, and there's going to be the kind of people that are like, the same money for one day a week, I'm fine with that.
Right.
You think Matt Hardy gives a shit if he has a match every week?
And
I don't think at this point he does.
There's some, I don't know many, but there's a couple workers who are probably keen to it who, if they're smart, they could try, but they're probably not going to get a shot at WWE. I don't need to go through and think who I am or not. I'm not going to point fingers, but like staying small right now with no heat while guys try and jump shit back over. Cool, man. Cool. You go. I'm gonna stay at 90 to 120 grand, and you came in and picked his pockets, but he still wants a wrestling company, so you go. Because in 3 months, when they all go, I'm going to be able to fill the spot, renegotiate my contract for 2 or 3 times as much, and fucking be the focus storyline where 4 months ago, I was just sitting in the crowd watching a match and, oh, they're over there. Like, you know, like that. There's, for real smart snakes in the grass, to lay out right now can mean more for them in 4 months.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
We're in historic Cleveland, Ohio. And we set off with Y2J and Daniel Garcia to meet face-to-face in the ring to settle their issues from last week when Y2J wanted to put the beating on Daniel Bryan after the 2 out of 3 falls match, and we see him with Sophie's Choice. Am I going to go with the glitz of Hollywood and rock and roll, or am I going to stay true to my wrestling roots and leave the ego-driven jerks and join the cool guys in the Blackpool Combat Club? It's an interesting little middle school premise of a friend in the middle, and don't make me choose the impossible choice of the wrestler I respect the most versus the guy who leads me. It was a little bit overdone, but it's wrestling, and that's what we do. Daniel Bryan comes down, and they're chanting, "You're a wrestler" to Daniel Garcia, and Jericho's trying to get him to say, "You're a sports entertainer." I mean, Jericho's a master of this. He can click a goddamn pen and fucking have people going nuts. You know what I mean? So not a bad little segment to start things off where Daniel Garcia puts Jericho on his ass so he can fucking get the big shocked face or what have you right there. But Jericho's brush and hair gimmick looking good, looking young. Got the right color, and the guy knows his brush and hair gimmick. What do you want?
Did you find it overly childish to have Daniel Garcia saying,
Yes.
you can't put me on the spot right now. You're making me make decisions right now. Yeah. Didn't they advertise this as a featured segment on the thing last week? They'll say Daniel Garcia will have a face-to-face with, like, this isn't exactly on the spot, and now you're crying and you whine and you walked off, and then you let your hero get beat up and you didn't turn around and come back either. So
he did have a Buffalo Kids shirt on.
Yeah, that too.
So shout out West Side Gun and Pepper and Cherry, Butcher Blade and Bunny, and all the heads on the 716 at ESW, man. But my man Super Beast. And I don't know. Yeah, it was very childish. That's why I said this felt very middle school. You know what I mean? But
I can see the idea, like you wanted. I see what you on paper, and that makes me wonder, Ben. It makes me wonder, tracing it all the way back from the launch of AEW. Does Tony picture all this stuff going way differently in his mind when he sets it up, and then they go out there and constantly fuck up his vision?
Dude.
Is that something that's happening? Do we just assume that everything goes literally as planned and it sucks and we blame Tony? Or does he think like, oh, I got this idea, and then when they go out there and do it, he's like, that's not what I wanted, but I'm just gonna smile, and because these are my friends now. Like all of these famous wrestlers are my friends.
The execution absolutely can go to shit, and it's about him being friends instead of wanting to put on the best product too. But we said this many times in Derby City Wrestling, Power and Beast and I, and I'm sure you heard it plenty of times yourself. Look good on paper. The segment goes to shit. The way we wrote it looked like awesome, but then we didn't get that, or we thought it was awesome, and then the execution was how we wanted it, and we're like, it ain't right. That was more rare of an occasion, but usually you can write in your mind up to the standard you want your performers to do it, but if they don't see it or truly understand it, well, that's on the director and the producer. But we need to have a clear vision by committee of where we're going. And even when you do, sometimes it don't come off that way. You know what I mean? And it could be, and I don't want to put heat on Daniel Garcia. Maybe we needed to workshop this so when in rehearsal it didn't come off. Like if we could watch it and go, this seems a little too juvenile. How do we make him a stronger figure in this delivery and punch this up? But they were busy having talent meetings where they're going, our door's always open. So the last thing they're probably going to do is go, we need to workshop the Jericho segment and Daniel Bryan, right? Like that, the people just don't want to overcome on egos because they don't think it's going to come off juvenile. But it did come off very sixth grade. But to my own counterpoint on that, when we improvise, we're really trying to get back in touch with what we call inner play, our inner child. And our imagination flourishes from age 6 to 12. Age 13, pre-puberty, we start doubting ourselves. We're not just having fun in our own minds. We are judging others because of our own insecurities. That's a lot of times when we try and get back to where we really wanted. We thrived and loved life when we were in our safety net and we could use our imaginations as our brain grew, is that time period. So to come off juvenile still plucks the heartstrings of almost every inner child.
Not to mention that Daniel Garcia is the size and shape of a juvenile, and you know.
Oh yeah, man. So then we can hear from Ricky Starks. He's going to do something. They billboard that. But up next, it's FTR's Dax Hardwood versus Jay Lethal in a fucking great match, bro. Like really wrestling purist singles. I'm not sure if Dax's partner is injured, and that's why they're having him run singles. Is this for anything? I'm not sure if it's for a spot or anything.
I don't recall. Maybe somebody in the chat can enlighten us if there was any point to this match. But sometimes it seems like Dax just likes to have a singles match, you know, because since he's such the greatest worker, and he's one. I think he's one of the between 7 to 10 best wrestlers in the world on the roster. So he likes to flex those muscles every once in a while.
Yeah, and he did look good, man, last night in the ring, like a wrestling purist, and they working the camera the right way, dude. Just when he'd sit up, even after the loss, and get his shot, it just meant so much. Two guys who have been in this game for 20 years, and you can see that they've far surpassed the 10,000-hour rule. When they dove, it meant something. I really like the chops in this match. Even when he had him up on the top rope and hit him, like, the real violence that's supposed to cover for the phony violence was all in the right spot, and the wrestling was good. And there was only one no-sell that towards the end that came out into the finish. But aside from that, I thought this was the match of the night, bro, on the show. I really like this match. Unfortunately, I'm going, why? And what stakes do we even remotely have, dude? But Lethal wins, attempts a submission. Let's see, what was the finish? Hardwood hits a crossbody. Yet another close fall takes place. Two men grab, throwing hands once more until Hardwood goes for roll up. Lethal reverses, grabs the trunks for the win. So simple heel victory, powders and takes off with Sanjay laughing and whatnot. But then all of a sudden, at All Out for a trios match, up come the Motor City Machine Guns. Guys who may have been ahead of their time, and the Bucks took a lot of their sauce and remixed it. They were in Impact. They're pretty much made in Impact. I've worked plenty of shows with them in 2CW, both good, humble guys. And I'm glad they do what they do because I ain't doing that shit. So they're good on the show, but the crowd seemed to pop big for Motor City Machine Guns going to be showing up here.
Yeah, Motor City Machine Guns staying busy. As you all know, I do the Impact Attack every...
And actually, sorry to cut you off. I got 2 nice compliments saying this week's show was an awesome Impact Attack.
Oh, yeah. Well, we brought in a ringer. We brought in Jimmy T from the PWC to get a set of fresh eyes on what Impact is doing because he hasn't watched it in a while. And we want to see if it's just us or, are we all seeing the same things, whether we've been watching week to week or do they have the same problems even for a new fan? So, or a lapsed or whatever the case with Jimmy. He used to watch it. But Machine Gun's been staying busy there. Chris Sabin over there, he's basically like up to a certain point, he was like Goldberg 98. You weren't beating Chris Sabin. He beat Moose. He beat all kinds of like all these top guys. And then Alex Shelley's recently come back and Kushida's now back. And
the right way, like, or is it just like a egregious push? Has the mountain climb been told the right way?
For Sabin? You mean Sabin you're referring to?
Yes.
Yeah, no. He just went over guys that he should have lost to. But
okay.
And then when it comes time to get a title match, like a world title match against their champion Josh Alexander, who gets the spot? Alex Shelley gets the spot. He beats Chris Sabin in a singles match. So they're still friendly, they're still partners. But Alex Shelley got the shot that he never, he never, I guess, had all these years at the world title.
Sabin took all the bumps to get there. Shelley takes it in one match and goes on.
Takes it in one match.
That's a good work right there, bro.
Good worker, great worker. And then Josh Alexander put him down, but they're still a team. And like I said, they got Kushida in the mix there, so they're like, it's funny that they're not doing that as a trio, but whatever. Anyway, so yeah, Motor City Machine Guns have been busy to me. But maybe to everybody else, this is like coming out of left field as a surprise. I guess, I want to ask you a question, Ben, because I asked, one of the things in the lead up to the title match for Alex Shelley, Josh Alexander was putting him over as like, a pioneer and someone who has the respect of everybody in the locker room. And just all this. So he's basically talking about him like he's Terry Funk or Harley Race or something. And I was just like wondering, like, I've watched Alex Shelley his whole career, and am I missing something? Is it just like, is it just something that the fans can't see, like the locker room respect and what kind of a guy he is? Or can we really look at him as like, a one of the great contributors to that level of independent / semi-pro wrestling?
Yeah, I mean, definitely has the respect, and I think you get even more respect sometimes. I mean, obviously he's right there on the cusp doing like the high flyer style and whatnot, but a humble guy in the locker room, easy to get along with, sure. But there's a point in some guys' careers where they get more respect by not making it, where they're right there. I think Jerry Lynn's a great example of that. Best feud of Rob Van Dam's career, arguably, right? And really helped make Rob, and is every bit the wrestler anybody ever was. Not say he wasn't in WWE and didn't make it, because he did, but was never over to like the level of a Chris Benoit, and is equally as talented, if not more so. Jerry Lynn cuts a better promo than Chris Benoit does. was jacked, fucking wrestled the almost identical style. Like, and Jerry Lynn gets mad respect, like, and well earned. And I think a big part of that is people know how fucking good you are, and because you never got that big shot. I think Mike Mondo's another one. I think Mondo up there working with all those guys, but when you have Mondo break your fucking match down, or you have him agent your shit, you're like, wow, what the fucking brain on this guy, you know? So I think Alex Shelley has some of that, and it's easy to be like, well, on camera he's only this, and they do that, and they point to their hand. But I think we need to maybe honor guys a little bit more who are going to be our Terry Funks, who are going to fucking show up and do business on your indie show for the love of wrestling, and not be a fucking douchebag and be like, I'm over as fuck. Because maybe at one time he was, and it just became like, all right, this is my lot. I'm going to make the most out of it. You know what I mean? So I don't know if that answers your question fully, but, and I don't know if that's the way it's going, but I just kind of like in that same spot from those guys to the next generation of who that might be. And maybe he's moving into that, and that can be good for a reinvention. Jesus Christ, PCO, you know, like taking crazy bumps, but so be it. Like from what we remember him as to where he is now, who knows where Alex Shelley may be. And here he comes, 68 years old Alex Shelley, out of the fucking back, hits the Terry Funk moonsault and take it home. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, he very well could be that guy someday. So
could be. Well, anyway, he's going to be in this trios tournament,
Yeah,
so
man.
let's get excited for it.
It's asinine, this trios fucking whole thing. Then we have Shivani backstage with Thunder Rosa, and very emotional, very real of her giving up the title. I mean, I don't know, man. Like, you really got to have something going on, and maybe she does. It's personal, maybe it's family. I don't want to judge and say no and be like, she's weak. You give it, like, you know, like everybody's going through something, dude. So I'm not here to do that shit. But is it the locker room picking apart at her as opposed to sisters supporting each other? Man, that's the saddest thing to me, bro, because, you know, with improv and with my musical theater background, it's about the entire fucking cast. It's about the entire group in the group mind. And we all get there together and we make our segment the best together. But if it's I, me, my, and these girls are doing walk-ons, doing Gallagher prop bits with sandbags and not telling you to get a gotcha moment on camera, that's not trusting your scene partner. That's being pimped out, is what we call that in fucking the improv world. And you're there left holding the bag. And then you're like, ooh, heat, I'm going to get her next week. What are some good disses that are true? And then say something that's mean. And now we really fucking hate each other and we're not working together until somebody silently heats everybody and they have a fucking breakdown. Like, that's not how you want to run your locker room, bro.
Yeah, assuming it's that, you know what it probably is more than anything is probably the people on social media are the ones that are getting to her more than anybody in the locker room, because we all know that these soft kids go to Twitter or whatever and start reading shit. And look, you know, I know, we know what to do. Don't sell it, you know, trademark Terry Runnels. But they haven't got that lesson yet, because even when, and you know, I've been guilty of this. Like, even when you see something, you immediately say, well, you know, consider the source. Like, why should I care about that? But even just the fact that somebody that doesn't know you or anything about you feels like they need to comment something negative about you, it's still like, it kind of gnaws just a little bit. Like, you know, it's like an ant bite. It's like, you know, the ant can't hurt you, but it's like, but you're biting me. Why are you biting me? You're just one ant, one insignificant ant, and you chose to bite me. Why? And then it bothers us. So imagine somebody as popular as Thunder Rosa, and every time that she just wants to scroll through her timeline, she's going to see the stuff from AEW botches and, you know, Kenny Olivier and all these sites. It's just, look at all these times Thunder Rosa fucked up. And then, you know, that's the kind of stuff I don't think. You know, I'd
still be riding high off the 69 butt eating meme. Like, fuck it, I got my own meme that's gonna last forever. That's fine.
If Britt Baker follows the traditional heel of the traditional rule of heels being the inverse, like to how much heat you get is how nice of a person you are, then Britt Baker's probably one of the sweetest people there is in the business. If that's the case, I can't relate to these situations because if I were in those positions, I could probably write a promo that could end somebody's career, but I'd definitely clear everything I was going to say with them before I said it, and ask them like, can I say this? I don't have to say this. I could say something else or whatever.
I doubt Christian went into business for himself talking about Luke Perry.
No,
it is great.
No.
Like, hey, I'm going to talk about your dead dad.
But Christian is a industry longtime veteran and a total professional.
Right? Exactly.
He's old, in another way of putting it. And these other
Britt
kids don't necessarily have the same upbringing that a Christian got.
But Britt and them and what they're doing, if they are doing that, hearsay, what have you, and that's very Shawn Michaels clique, bro. That's that, and you know, to me, that move is coming from Adam Cole. So
could be, but to hear the click tell it, they wanted you to bust balls back, and most people got their feelings hurt back then, at least according to them.
Right.
So you know, who really knows? But this is another weird situation where she's saying she's stepping down as champion, and then we're talking about interim champions again. So for a second, I thought she was giving up the belt and we're going to have a new champion, but no, we're going to have a new interim champion. So we're going to get a thing where Thunder Rosa is going to come back and we're going to have a situation where we've got another unification match, I guess. Is this like a consolation prize for her having to do a job without doing a job?
Maybe. I don't know, man. It just is like not the best choice, you know, as far as that goes.
Did Tony say, well, I guess we'll just have to take the belt? And then she started to cry some more. And then he's like, oh, or you could be the champion like CM Punk was, and we'll make an interim champion, you know, like backpedal it real quick. I don't know.
And we have another belt. That's the same one. Everybody, you're interim.
Not only do we have too many new belts, we've got too many copies of the belts that we already have.
That's right. You can leave. Here's your one to leave at Tumbleweed. This one's for home on the mantelpiece. Leave this one in the car to get stolen in Detroit. Yeah, man. I mean, her emotion was genuine. It does come through, and it made this scene grounded. So I don't want to take that away from her. But I got a problem with it because whether it's for mental break or it's for a physical break or surgery or something personal at home, if she's got to leave and lay it down or not lay it down, so we need to do an interim, let's just take her out and give heels heat. How can we put heat on heels here? We're putting sympathy on a baby that for what? She's not going to be around. Like, we're not.
Well, but see now, Ben, the 2022 version of Heat is this because they throw around people getting beat up and laid out like that's every segment. It was already on the show when they beat up Daniel Bryan. It's like they do that so much, and now that means nothing. No one has gotten any heat in 5 years for jumping somebody. Like that just the heat is gone from that. That's almost expected now. Like as soon as the match is over in AEW, as soon as the bell rings, all right, who's coming out? Someone's going to come out and beat up one of these guys. So you're conditioned to see that. So now if someone jumps Thunder Rosa backstage and gets some heat, there's no heat. It's just business as usual. This is AEW, unsafe work environment. Be prepared to get jumped, possibly kidnapped. You know, that's happened many times in the past. So we can't even get heat with the old, you know, the old oldies but goodies anymore. Now the heat is like, you know, you give them a sandbag. I don't know.
Right, this smart fucking, I got the reference in that sandbag. Yeah, like, I don't know, it'd be too carny, but even though I like it with that Hannah J chick, because she's gone comedy with the choke out thing, you know? But we stopped playing that game this week, like last week. Should have played it here, and they unleash her on Thunder Rosa, break her neck or whatever off of that, and then they're backboarding her out, and then they push her off the stage or some shit while she's on the fucking gurney. You know what I mean? Something believable in a big spot like the trash spot with Ass Boys versus Acclaimed. A very good, you know, throwback to the DX stuff, and it was a cool visual. We just needed something equally like that to make it believable that she's off TV, you know, and her neck's in traction. And then even she could come back the next week with the thing on, unleash Hannah J on her again and fucking get the gimmick on her, and take it from comedy to something serious. That this bitch does love choking people out, and she broke the champ's neck and put her on the shelf. Then we can give up the belt, but we're missing opportunities for heat on every one of these injuries, even if it's something for mental anguish. Colton Gunn versus Billy Gunn. Beforehand, we get a rap from the Acclaim who references today's AEW talent meeting. That was a good little line.
It was a good line that absolute crickets.
Yeah.
Like not one person made a single pop on that line. They were like, huh?
I popped for it on AEW self-help group, twitch.tv/Hamin Media. But yeah, man, it's Billy Gunn in there. And dude, the kids, his own son, are close fist punching him in the head and dropping him, dude. I'm just like, man, I don't know if I could close fist my old man in the fucking face right now, bro. Plus, I wouldn't want to get one back from him, but he does have a broken leg, so he's not dropping the big leg on me. I don't got to worry about that. But the attacks continue from his son. He launches Colton into the guardrail, gets back ring, but Austin Gunn distracts to allow his brother to attack. But the veteran regains control of the boys. Outside, Stokely Hathaway uses a boombox on the Acclaim. Like, okay, the guy Stokely Hathaway, good promo and all that, but we're trying to pepper in too much shit of what's going on. Like, let's tell one story before we tell the next story. Instead, we're getting the Venn diagram way too early before we establish these worlds and why he's actually doing it. I don't know what his id is. And like the mystery of, he's giving his card to people just doesn't hold up. It lessens the moment of what we're trying to create with fathers and sons fighting each other. Now I got to worry about a manager who really doesn't fit in this storyline, and I got to swallow that. It's like putting salt in your sugar. It does not work the right way. And then the Acclaim that Austin helps him out, hits with the official, and Colton hits a low blow, and the Colt 45 on the win. Colton gun up, and Stokely Hathaway with the guns. That just does that on paper even look good to you? Like, to me, it just doesn't fit, bro. No,
it looks like Stokely's just going around trying to get everybody, and if you did some go and some don't, then that there's a little intrigue there. Like the more people he talks to, but I don't care about any of this. The only thing I took away from this was that Billy Gunn looks massive. And even though we all say that, everybody that mentions Billy Gunn talks about how massive he is, and yet I still feel it's worth pointing out that he still looks massive.
Well, Keith Lee comes in the ring at the end. Swerve and Keith Lee come in, and Keith Lee helps Billy up, and they're standing eye to eye. So Keith Lee, who's supposed to be a monster beast, it'll show you that Billy Gunn is a big motherfucker. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, bigger than he ever was.
Yeah.
Right now.
And so his kids definitely are having some peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and B12 water to wash it all down, too. But it's wrestling. That's just what the fuck it is, man. The thing with Stokely Hathaway, so I don't want to keep vamping on this big shit, but like something I had wanted in NXT and WWE, because, I think Robbie E is a great talent, or whatever they changed his name to, and a guy who can get over whatever you want him to get over, and he's committed to the bit, and he understands exactly what this business is about in ring or out on the outside as a manager, adding to the story. So if you got Stokely Hathaway doing it, Robbie E could come over. I don't know if they cut Robbie E or not, if he still has.
No, he's still there, and
good
on the most recent episode, in fact.
But regardless, if we're doing managers who are recruiting, we need managers recruiting, not just one guy. You got Abrahantes, you got the other dude that's the Latino that comes out with the team. You even got fucking Young Bucks buddy on the camera. But do we have, like, this is, I always go back to this, a great movie, Jerry Maguire. Like, why don't we have a group of sports agents that are representing people? And Stokely Hathaway's not a gimmick like Mouth of the South. He seems like a legit agent. You know what I mean?
Stokely Hathaway is like a Bob Sugar
He is like a Bob Sugar. So
But we don't have any Jerrys. All we have in
Right.
AEW is like 10 Bob Sugars.
Exactly.
And most of them aren't on camera.
So why can't? And even when we do have a Tully Blanchard, we let him go. Like, if we're gonna have managers, let's see him manage. Let's see him do deals. Let's see him politic. Let's see him protect their client. Mark Sterling does a good job. I'll put him over too. But that's where the heat is. It should be Stokely Hathaway and Mark Sterling in some battle back and forth over a client, not just going around handing out cards. So what they're trying to do is something, but we haven't set up the scene with all the managers. That's what we really need. Something where the managers politic and we see them all trying to swap talent or get something better for their talent. Sanjay too. Yeah, Sanjay's another great one. Absolutely. Larry Weaver in the chat.
We can do we could just redo the old who's going to manage the Macho Man angle, and then at the end it'll just be a random hot chick with no other connections to wrestling like it was back then.
Jose the assistant, Brandon Cutler, Vicky Guerrero, all these are great. I mean, dude, this is what we need. If we have these, we gotta show managers, give them credibility, and not just something on Dark Elevation. It's got to be on Rampage. That'd be an interesting thing. The weekly managers meeting is on Rampage, and we get a 3-minute look at what's going on for the upcoming week and how they're trying to politic for it to get their person on Dynamite from Rampage. I don't know.
Nah, too interesting. Move on.
Okay. Shivani's then shown with Aussie Open and Will Ospreay and Death Triangle, as Will Ospreay says they have a mission, just more gold. Dude, in this, there's 6 guys in this scene plus the announcer. There's 4 fucking belts in this scene, bro. 4 belts, tag belts, some USWA, Mid-Atlantic, Intercontinental, Ballistic Missile belt, and the Dippin' Donuts 24/7 title or whatever the fuck. Everybody's got a belt. Belts don't mean fuck all. And especially, why are you letting belts from outside promotions be on your show? Because now your belts are lowered to those regional promotions. No belts mean anything. Your belts aren't special.
Yeah,
Your belt's going there maybe, but not the other way around. Pac claims they've been waiting for too long for this opportunity, and they decide they're not going to kill them. They're going to murder them.
Oh.
So
that is a little different. I guess a court of law could find degrees.
Well, killing you would be manslaughter and self-defense. Murder is premeditated. I'm going to kill you. So they were on the defensive. Now they're going on the offensive when it comes to killing people.
Okay.
Britt Baker comes out of the gate strong with a sling blade. Fred Fried Tater. And she follows it by attacking.
Shouldn't have done that.
Don't you hurt that boy. Kylan King in the corner, but she avoids the next attack with sharp kick to the stomach. I don't even know why I'm recapping this. So
Yeah.
the music through it. But Britt Baker sets up the lockjaw after a curb stomp. Britt Baker over. After the match, she gets on the mic, says she wrestled her entire run with a broken wrist because that's what a champion does. So is that a shot on Thunder Rosa right there? I think so. She says then Toni Storm will finally be on pay-per-view when someone gives a damn, as she's in ring with her, and that leads Storm to march to the ring, only for Jamie Hayter to appear from behind attacker. Hikaru Shida then appears to make the save, running the heels off with a kendo stick. So the interim champ at All Out will be Toni Storm versus Hikaru Shida versus Britt Baker versus Jamie Hayter.
Well, I like all those ladies, so whoever is the new champ, I will support them wholeheartedly.
I like this match too on paper. I really do.
The match will be terrible, but we'll get a new champion and
Them all.
yeah.
They all have.
But-
They all have.
Well, it's tough. It's tough sometimes though, Ben. When you get the ladies in there, they want to do a lot, and if it's a fatal 4-way, it's going to be a really lot. And I just think it has the potential to go off the rails, despite all the talent in there.
Well, it'll
That's
be
my
our
concern.
baby's going to work together till the heels, because they're obviously on the same team, break down to separate them, and then how is one baby going to overcome the two? So it'll be interesting. Schiavone's backstage with the Acclaim, and they don't mind saving them as long as they love the Acclaim to the tag team champions. So Keith Lee says they saved them because they'd be worthy opponents at All Out, but Max Caster says they don't need help. They're the best homegrown team in AEW. Bowen says it all out. They're taking the titles. Then in the weirdest fucking thing ever, CM Punk and Jon Moxley at 8:47 have a world title unification match out of nowhere. And the internet's like, what the fuck? People are saying finger poke of doom too. I don't understand where that comes from because that's completely different from what we saw here.
Maybe it's just, I think they may be just reference. A lot of people reference that as the moment WCW died.
Okay.
So
right.
In that sense, maybe that's what they mean.
Okay.
But yeah, there was nothing like that here.
So quick lockup, back and forth, fires knees on each other in the corner and beatdowns in the corner. Shoot, reverse comeback, duck one, spin kick for the heat spot cutoff. I was like, I like that. And Punk, boom, hits a great kick like the one that knocked out Kamaru Usman on fucking UFC. He hits that on Moxley, but goes right down selling his foot. Then Mox comes over after no selling it way too fast because he's the best wrestler in the world and fucking grabs Punk's leg and starts working the leg. And people are going, that's the wrong leg from the hit that on the kick. And we worked the left leg and he's working the left and dropping it on there. But the kick came from the fucking right. Well, I was talking to Stevie about this, but on the pivot foot, Punk is selling like he rolled his ankle, but on camera, it looked like the kick hit him and he broke his foot on the kick. So now Mox is working the right leg, the correct leg, but the crowd thinks is the other foot. So now they're going, he's working the wrong fucking leg to sell the shit. But Punk was really selling the ankle off the pivot foot, but the kick looked so good, it confused things. So now,
or Moxley's just the best wrestler in the world.
He's the best. Moxley goes over clean with a fucking double arm DDT and 1, 2, 3, and everyone's going, what the fuck? But they know that this is a couple possible scenarios in the work, non-work, shoot bullshit that they want to claim.
Well, first of all, what would be a shoot about it? There's nothing was a shoot. Those phony DDTs were not a shoot.
Well, the shoot is that it's a punishment. The shoot is that for going into business for yourself, we're going to punish you by taking the belt off you, and you're going to lay out and do the job to show the locker room that you're no better than anybody else, and that you will do business when you're told. That's the shoot punishment. The other part of that is, that's hypothetical, I'm saying. Punk could go, fuck this place, I'm done. I'll put him over on my way out, and I'm not staying till 10 o'clock. I'm out of here at 9, so you better fucking put me on at 8:47. We're going 5 minutes. And that could be the shoot of the situation. So there's a lot in here, and especially with Moxley saying that was the best win of his career. That's a covert stab at shutting somebody's mouth who thought they had ego, not the fact that it was the greatest match ever in front of Cleveland where I unified the titles. His covert slam is a fuck you on the way out. So is Punk now gonna say, my foot's hurt, I'm done, I'm home, and just fade off and not come back and deal with the shit? Is he gonna be there and be a team player and be bigger and apologize for not going into business for himself like he did again and showing that he'll do business? They're both hypothetical scenarios with kind of a third one mixed in there of possibilities, but the match tells a bigger story than what we saw on TV and in the ring as relates to the locker room status right now of a lot of people.
Well, what do you think? I mean, do you subscribe to either one of those two possibilities, or do you have a third as yet unnamed possibility?
Well, why this wasn't in the main event and paying off.
The reason it wasn't in the main event is because they were doing this. Also, why is this all of a sudden a featured match when it was supposed to be at All Out, right? So that means that they already knew this was going to happen.
To me, that means Punk's going, based on what I've seen behavior-wise, he's going, fuck you, I'm done, bro. I'll put him over 5 minutes. Let him unify the belts. I don't need this shit. I'm out of here. And
right, but
that's what I'm thinking he's done with the company, bro.
I don't. Well, maybe, but maybe not. If he wasn't, because I think the match is the match at All Out still advertised. as the main event for All Out?
Because I think they're scrambling on all that, dude. Because even last night, I'm going, why is this on at 8:47, done before 9? People are going, because MJF's coming back. I'm going, you're going to bring MJF back in the main out of nowhere, and then obviously they don't. And fucking, we just have these guys from New Japan that nobody gives a shit about, and the Bucks walk out, and everyone's like, okay, you just fucked the whole show for a CM Punk punishment. Is what it comes down to. How are you going to go bigger than the world title unification from your 2 top paid stars and not put it in your main event or have a bigger surprise? Because if that's there, something bigger has to be happening at the end of the show. And in fact, something of it about 30% value happens at the end of the show. So you just burned your second hour to teach Punk a lesson, or Punk is saying, I'll do business and I'm out of here. Like, that's all I'm kind of left with in my mind, psychologically holding the bag that way.
Well, I don't know. If I was going to say, fuck this, I'm out of here, I still wouldn't have done it like this. I wouldn't necessarily go about it the same way. And also, it wouldn't be, I don't know. The whole thing seems like it went as planned to me, just because of the time slot and the fact that we knew that nobody was going to like this. If you wanted to do like a work the workers type situation where you shock everybody, you would normally, logic would dictate, you might want to close the show with that because it's the main event, and, the main event should be the main event. Knowing already ahead of time what people are going to think about this, now they move it ahead in the show so that you can give people a banger of a main event with this trios match with this, the Pac and Will Ospreay face-off thing, I guess that, that audience would be interested in, right? Yeah. So you send them home, well, unless they stay for a Rampage, but you send them home happy, theoretically, but you have this weirdness to set up some business for later and get people buzzing and talking. Maybe. I'm not saying I believe any of this. I'm trying to provide other possible things that, and rather than jumping to conclusions, let's take a look at. Now, why would you do that? Okay, well, what were we talking about over on the SmackDown review? We're talking about Sammy Spirit of 76, right? And they didn't do that one right. Well, what if they want to do a Spirit of 76 where Punk says, I'm going to beat you on one leg at All Out? Where's All Out?
Chicago, yeah.
Oh, holy shit. You don't say. All Out in Chicago. I wonder. And you don't have a main event advertised for it if this match doesn't take place as it was supposed to.
Yeah. Oh, you absolutely could be right on that too. That's playing by the creative rules, but the way this show was set up, it seemed like something was sacrificed for a lesson. I'd love to be on the creative side and think that they're trying to shoot on it. And here's another one too that I left off. We talked briefly about on Friday Locker Room. Did you see the story with Eddie Kingston and Sammy Guevara backstage, where I guess Kingston was suspended for 2 weeks after smacking fucking Guevara because he was commenting about his weight or something? I don't know if it was super malicious or just trying to help a brother, being like, dude, I'd love to see you get in shape, and he took it the wrong way, or if it was like, hey, you fat fuck, put the cake down. What the fuck you say to me?
Somehow I don't even think Sammy's dumb enough to do that. But
yeah, man, who knows? That they're loving that in the chat room. That definitely makes sense. That fucking sees it unabashedly, for sure, man.
Yeah, I don't want to immediately say, oh, Punk is done or whatever, because why should he be? He's having a very easy time making a lot of money. And as a guy with creative control in his contract, which he's probably not going to ever get that again, CM Punk would have had a better chance in Vince McMahon's regime in WWE than Triple H's regime. So, he knows that if he's going to wrestle anywhere else, it's got to be this place. He's not going to go anywhere else because it'll be too small time for him. So if he's not done just yet, I could see him trying to do something different and maybe try to get Jon Moxley over a little bit or something like. I don't know. I really don't know. But it does look like, however this went, it was a planned thing. The other possibility is that he fucking really did hurt himself and they called an audible right then and there.
Well, could be. That could be it too. But I don't know. The look back and all that. My biggest pop, Ace Steel. I'm a big Ace Steel guy. He's fucking one of the nicest guys and real, hardest workers in the Midwest, for years. And he was great to us at OVW, dude. A ton of knowledge and a guy who's just a fucking man's man in a business full of prima donnas. So even though he's Punk's bestie, I'm sure he's dealt with a lot of bullshit, but I got a lot of respect for Ace Steel, so it was cool to fucking see him on camera. And let's see, Moxley's up, and we get to look back. Backstage, we get Christian Cage says Jungle Boy will never be as smart as him. And he said he's seen it all and done it all. He claims it all. Jungle Boy will see why he's not in his league as he accepts the challenge. Then we get Ricky Stark in the ring, very fired up and moving, but not happy feet moving with intent, delivering a very solid promo on Hobbs, saying that they would have eaten together. Their spotlight was big enough for both of them, but didn't need to, and now he's going to fuck him over and get back on him, yada, yada, it all out. So Starks really with controlled energy, which is really shows me of him coming into his own, because a lot of times people can let all that out and it's there, but they don't know how to craft it or focus that beam. It's not an easy thing to do, but he made it through this promo with wrestler voice, but at the same time, very believable in his convictions of what he was saying.
I think Ricky Starks is, for me, now maybe it's just me, but for me, Ricky Stark's a little uneven in his career. Sometimes, I really want to get behind what he's doing. Other times, I feel like it's a little bit much. I don't think he's even, with all of his skill and talent, I don't even really think he's found his voice yet, his real voice.
No, but you see the money there, right? Like
something there, yeah. But that's the thing. I keep waffling on it because when I was watching him at NWA, I was like, Ricky Starks seems okay, but that's an NWA. He even sticks out even more in NWA. He comes to AEW, I'm like, maybe I overrated Ricky Starks a little. He's not that great. And then he starts doing some stuff, and then I'm like, oh, well, Ricky Starks does have a little something. So it's like I keep going back and forth. I shouldn't be going back and forth. I should be saying that Ricky Starks is an unsung talent, and he needs to get more and do more, but I'm never sure. And this promo was it was good, but I don't know if it's going to be, every time anything happens, it's going to be this. We're going to get the screaming Ricky Starks with the veins in the neck, almost crying thing.
If we get him over as a baby that doesn't need that intensity, and, Gully Blanchard says cough Ethan Page. I think Ethan Page, who came out and did the I Me My Pipe Bomb promo and hasn't been on TV since, Where's My Shot? They've got a legit beef after this pays off with Hobbs. I think those guys could work well together with Ethan Page being the heel and Starks the baby.
Real quick on the Ethan Page thing, one of the things I talked about on the Wednesday night skirmish over at the PWC was how even though people were praising Ethan Page's promo, I said, well, this promo sucks. And this is the reason why, because you just came out and screamed at me for 3 minutes about how you're not on television. That's a fucking waste of airtime.
Right.
You're on TV right fucking now. And what did you do? You bitched to me.
Right.
Yeah, you didn't get over in this. You just screamed with your fucking unbuttoned shirt, and I don't care.
Did you hear my pitch on the toy stuff? It would have been good in there. Bitch about not having toys, but have 1,000 custom Ethan Pages ready to go. A double pack with Tony Khan or whatever you want. You know what I mean? They released the Jonathan Gresham Tony Khan box set where one has to stand on a box to yell at somebody. But have these ready to go and be like, they don't want to make a toy of me, so I made my own. And you can get them at Ethan Page right now, $120 each signed. At only 1,000. So if you're a toy collector, you better get them. And maybe that'll be enough for them to get off their asses and push old EP. Dude, hit them where, use your toy stuff to get over, not just as a supplement thing for YouTube. If you're pissed about that, how do I go? You can go to AEW shop and get all these other tees. My t-shirt's not on there. It's on Teespring / Ethan Page. You know what I mean? Fuck them. If you want to say fuck them, you got to have the setups ready to go, but they're not going to approve that promo.
No.
John Moxley's backstage asked if that's how it was supposed to go. What's that question you mean? Those who are writing him off, or those who are pointing him out, he was interim champ. He says he's not just some guy. He's the guy in the industry who will put Effie in the $1 Million Dream while he jerks off at GCW. He doesn't follow any rules, and people. I added that part. People.
Yeah, I was going to say he didn't say that.
And people ask when it will be his time, and is telling everyone that his time's now. So
this promo is directed at James E. Cornette.
Yeah.
Directly. Period.
Right. Then we get Will Ospreay and Ray Phoenix to kick things off in this big ass United Empire versus Death Triangle. Get your shit in. No sell everything match. I don't know. Like, you can see Will Ospreay trying to get the crowd hyped up, and they're just all sitting there going,
what did I just see?
This is the main event, bro. Like, what the fuck? Like, why isn't Punk and him the main event? Like, what's going on? This doesn't feel right. I'm sure there was a strange vibe in the air, bro.
You mean they didn't get up for Aussie Open and forget all about all this other bullshit that happened?
Yeah, I don't know. All this shit. Everybody's no selling everything until the United Empire goes over. Ospreay hits the Os Cutter and is assisted to advance. Phoenix's Penta's taken out with the Ospreay Cutter or whatever the fuck. United Empire is up, and then after the match, Omega and the Bucks appear as the two teams stare each other down in heat that nobody gives a fuck about, because trios titles are just more meaningless belts that are absolutely meaningless. So
they made the entrance with music just for Don Callis to gently hold him back, and let's not have anything else. Let's not have any more action on the show.
No, this was a very, very, very bizarre fucking AEW Dynamite, bro. Like the way the match in the middle with Punk and him moved, that had to be a last minute call main event punishment. And I don't know on whose side is being humbled or one side's leaving the other. I don't know that information. I'm just telling you what I feel, like what it looks like as a booker and what I saw there, and left the crowd like not on the roller coaster ride that they should have taken them on. In fact, the only thing that was really acceptable, in my opinion, in-ring wise, was Jay Lethal and and that match didn't have no stakes, So very weird week with talent meetings, with Tony Khan sending messages to Stephanie and Nick Khan about don't poach my talent, with his own talent, probably at least half a dozen of them, if not a dozen, sending messages and telephone, tell a wrestler in this business of, oh, I heard that he sent a message to this guy, and then they're talking, and then that means I got to send a message to John Cone, and then John Cone can send it to, like, who's the new stooge? You got Bruce's number? Anybody got Bruce's number? Like, all that's going on, bro. All that's going on. So, Road Dogg, I know Road Dogg, he was on a podcast of what's happening, Jackson, over there, dude. And Tony's that's getting to him, and it's affecting his show, when those aren't the things we need to be selling for. 450,000 viewers coming off of 2.2 million for SmackDown. Number one problem to focus on. Revamping creative for Rampage, so we can pull those people based off their former WWE stars that we've hired, and pushing them with our own guys to get our own guys over. That's a priority. Unfortunately, we're doing punishment angles on TV, unifying titles at 8:45.
Maybe so. I mean, well, it's going to be a struggle to get a lead-in from an over-the-air thing to a premium cable thing. So right off the bat, like, you're not going to have the same amount of potential viewers.
Should be bombing social media all through SmackDown, bro, with promos and fucking.
Yeah, the kind of people that tune into cable channels don't have social media. When they say 18 to 49 demographic, it's in the 49. Believe me, these are old people watching cable at there's no appointment television for Rampage. You can catch it later if you care. So it's going to be. We
got to create buzz, though. That's what I'm saying. We got to get to them.
You're right, but the buzz reaches, like, I think the numbers, like, I talk about this a lot. The numbers are misleading because, again, it's cable, and of the cable subscribers, like, how many of those are the ones that are being recorded as ratings? And AEW's audience is not that. They can get a portion of that. But so dude, they're only.
Let's put it claimed on Fridays only. You're only going to get to see him rap there.
Yeah.
And we had Kevin Gates in the crowd, right? I don't listen to a lot of Kevin Gates music. That got on TMZ, got 1.2 million views in the first 24 hours. On World Star, when I looked it up, first 24 hours, 300,000 views. Dude, though, how many of those aren't watching AEW that are hip hop fans? How many other hip hoppers, or we do something on Rampage? How are we going to pull people in from these micro demographics to do it based on the specialized creative that we're only going to do on that show? These are the questions that need to be focused on for crossover audience.
I don't know the answers to those questions. What I will say is that if you tell me that if I'm watching TMZ and you tell me that Kevin Gates appeared on AEW, and the next time I turn on AEW, I can damn sure bet Kevin Gates won't be on that episode. So right. It's really just going to be and when
we did something, we got the play. Next week, Kevin Gates needs to be in the corner of somebody, or slide the brass knuckles, or fucking you hold them and hit them. Like, they're getting the setup, they're getting the play, then they're not following through on whatever it needs to be to have our first lumberjack match with all rappers around the ring. You know what I mean? With fucking the Acclaimed and whatnot in the ring. We need to build all that week after week. Now that Kevin Gates is on the show, Acclaim goes and gets a rap buddy to fucking do something. And we just keep building this like outside.
Or is that being attempted, and then Kevin Gates' agent's like, no, we're not doing that. I mean, we don't. There's so many things that go into these, but it's true they always need to be trying things. I think AEW does try things. They don't know what to try or how to make it work when they do it. It's just like throwing a lot of stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Water in Shaq's face. Brandy throwing water in. What are we doing?
Not great, but also, you know, I don't know. And then let's say you've already watched 2 hours of SmackDown. It might have been very disappointing. You may not feel like a third hour. We all talk about Raw, which is one show we don't want to watch a third hour. So now I'm gonna tune in to SmackDown and see Roman Reigns. Then I'm gonna come over to Rampage and see what Bear Country. I think there's a drop off there in terms of like what you're going to see. So there may have been people that would actually do that, and maybe they get a little disappointed.
And I'm fine with that, but right now we're at 25%. We're at a 75% drop off. Unacceptable. 60%, no. 40% maybe. So if we're converting, we should be getting 1 million at 50% of fucking what SmackDown's doing. If we're doing any less than that, we are absolutely failing and need to revamp our plans. Not worry about unification title and take your ball and go home shit. Like, everybody should know you're either going to do what's right or you're all going to take your fucking ball and go home. And that's how you like it.
Well, the thing about it too is when you've got those kind of people, when you got the kind of people that are just out of habit, they're watching wrestling on a Friday, and then they see enough bad shows in a row, because there was a period there for whatever that period was, where one of those weeks Dave Meltzer called it very missable. Yeah. Now he's talking to this guy's on the payroll, and he's telling the audience, "Hey, you don't need to watch Rampage because it's that bad." You get 2 or 3 of those in a row, and then we see that precipitous drop, you know, and then it's like, even if they do something good, how are you going to know? The person's already given up on them. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to go back. And if a tree falls in the forest, and you know all about that. So if a tree falls in the forest, don't matter how good of Rampage you got. Those people already left. They gave you 3 weeks in a row and you burned them.
If a tree falls in the forest, it's probably going to get hooked up to a skidder, and I'm going to have to fucking move it sooner or later. Most of the time, man. Yeah, dude. Great insight, Vet. Absolutely, man. All the way around. I appreciate you doing the run-in out of the chat room to co-host with me today. I always love catching up with you and seeing those great notes from the VBC, and thanks again for such kind words earlier, man. I don't know. I'm going to try and play momentum and see where things get us, but it's a crazy carny industry that turns a lot of people upside down, but I don't have to answer to nobody. I don't know if you heard the Stooge report, but I'm interested to hear your takes on it. I know it was Stooge on Truth with Consequences at Russo's Patreon, but also the Friday Locker Room, which will be up tomorrow. We recorded this morning talking about Stevie, Vince, and myself being consultants for the USA Network for the past 2 years. So
juicy.
Very juicy stuff, that all the way around. I look forward to hearing your opinion on all of it. And where can they find you? At Opinion Haver on Twitter.
Well,
Yeah.
The perfect place for opinions. Now, while I do have them, I don't always necessarily give them. So I mostly like to just hoard them to myself, except in rare instances. And those rare instances would be on the Next Level Wrestling Review with Big Ray Hernandez every Wednesday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. And we'll be looking to maybe a little sneak preview of some juicy stuff ourselves. We may be looking to bring in a special guest sometime soon. More on that as it develops. But if you follow me on Twitter, which is also @OpinionAver, you may have already seen this. You can also find me at the Impact Attack. Now it's a little more regimented. Every Monday night, just about 9:30 p.m. Pacific, and Tuesday 12:30 a.m. It's just the way things work out. I'm very sorry, but you can catch Brandon and myself there, and we just had Jimmy T from the PWC on, so we got a little crossover. He's been so kind as to bring me onto the PWC network shows and help him out. So I thought, well, we've got to get this crossover going, collabs as the kids like to say.
Sure.
And we get some good fresh ideas, opinions, and takes and stuff, and that's what's going to help us grow the brands. We all got to pick each other up. Rising tide, all ships, all that cliched stuff.
I agree,
so,
man.
Yep,
I love
that's
that
me.
crossover. DJ Mass Effects in the house, and obviously my man Big Ray all day doing that Next Level Review with all the youngsters, the hotties, and future talent showcases, man. I'm glad you guys are on that as well. Thanks for all you do here at Hamin Media Group at channelattitude.com. That I really appreciate all your insight, bro.
It's pretty easy. You just sit in front of a mic and say things.
And Timmy Baltimore joining Monday.
Yeah.
Rooms
Is he have we locked him down? Have we signed him to a 5-year deal and with no tampering?
Yeah, we'll see. He's going to be much more regular around here, and hopefully we get Strangler Steve back. Would love to have Strangler Steve King come back and do stuff now that he's kind of getting set up in his new house and whatnot. Hopefully he'll have his studio up soon, and we can have more that way as well. But yeah, you guys, you're the best, the most loyal fans here. We were about 46 strong. We're at 43 right now watching live here, Ben Hamin YouTube channel. Give us a subscribe, $5 a month, channelattitude.com. And soon probably want to be subscribing to Patreon as I break down the last 2 years where it's been under wraps. The nukes have been dropped. We beat Putin to the punch, and we'll see what gets uncovered, man. So you think very highly of yourself, don't you, pal? Yeah, because my notes are going right to you through fucking USA, but you have no idea what you're reading. So THX, on behalf of everybody here at Hamin Media Group, I am
the head of the table, the tribal chief.
And I'm here with the vet, and don't you ever.
First of all, don't tell me what to do.
And this is your Light the Fuse review.
Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong.